Hello, everybody. This is
Hey.
Brian from Wicko's Carnivore, and we've got Dave Mack here.
Hey
Um,
guys.
so, Dave, you're from No Carb Life, right? Or it's at Zero
That's
Carb.
right.
Yep.
At zero
Okay.
carb, yeah.
That's right. Yep. All right. So we're gonna get started here, and if you have any questions, please put a Q in the front so that it's easier for us to find them in the chat. Also, if you want, while everybody's logging in, you can tell us where you're from. That'd be nice to see. And we're gonna start here with a new member for Dave's channel.
Oh,
She's
Christine,
become a
thank
new
you very
member.
much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. All
And
right.
hey,
Metamorphosis is
Carrie,
here.
how you doing? Oh my goodness.
Richard from Copper Hill, Tennessee.
Hey, Richard. And wow,
Kelly Price from Pennsylvania. Hello.
Kelly coming in from Pennsylvania. How you doing?
Carnivorous Dude is here.
Hey, Edmund, how are you?
And we got Paulette. Good evening from North
Paulette.
Carolina.
North Carolina. I'm interested. I was talking a lot about the weather the other day. How's the weather in North Carolina, Paulette? People were telling me the temperature in Texas has been crazy recently, and Rick was saying Florida is always crazy. So I'm interested. What's North Carolina like?
Yeah. I think it's been I'm I don't wanna speak for her, but I think it's been, like, in the 90s mostly, but the
Okay.
heat index has been, like, up over 100, so I'm in
Yeah.
Virginia, so I'm a little north of her, but,
How
it's
is it
been
there?
similar here. It's been pretty much 90s with heat indexes over 100, so yeah.
Wow.
Alright, Bobo from Jackson, Tennessee.
Hey, Bobo.
We got Adam from Pennsylvania.
G'day, Adam. How you doing?
Bobo says it's hot in Tennessee and humid. I can imagine. Oh, here you
Mm.
go. Paulette says, yeah, 90s and humid in North Carolina.
90s and humid. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a very, very similar here in Osaka.
Yeah.
Heat index is 119 here. Whoa,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Carnivorous Dude says it's 97 in Columbus tomorrow.
Wow. I'm starting to feel. I'm sitting under the air conditioner, but I'm starting to feel hot just thinking about these numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty hot for Columbus, Ohio, too.
Mm,
All right. She's from the Nashville area, got up to 95 today. See, it's been pretty
95.
hot.
Wow. Wow.
And
But
then
then look at
wait, yeah, yeah, wait, let me go here. 76 degrees in eastern
76.
Pennsylvania.
Wow, what a contrast.
Yeah, that is. Uh,
Nice.
so while
So,
we're Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask how things been going with your dieting recently. You were doing 2 meals a day, was it?
Yeah, I was doing mostly 2.
Yeah.
So y- this weekend, I moved my youngest daughter into, she's going to Coastal Carolina University in South Carolina. So I moved her into her
Mm.
dorm, and it was a rough weekend for my eating, for my diet. I, I completely failed it. Let me tell you. Um, like just one meal after another, I just made the wrong decisions, right? And like Saturday, I had like a donut and stuff, and it was rough. But I'm getting back on track.
Yeah,
So, it here in the United States, it's Tuesday evening. So for you, it's Wednesday morning now, right?
that's right.
Yep. Okay, so it's Tuesday evening here. On Monday, actually, the last 2 days here, I've only had one meal, so I've gone OMAD. On Monday, I had a 20-ounce ribeye, um, with just a little bit of butter on top of it and salt. And then today I had a 22-ounce ribeye, pretty much the same with a little bit of butter and salt. And so that's all I've ate the last 2 days. So I'm getting myself back on track. The funny thing is,
Mm.
I gained 6 pounds, which is mostly water weight from the
Wow.
weekend, and, this morning when I weighed myself, I had lost 4 of those pounds back already, so it was pretty much water weight from the carbs and so forth, but it
Mm.
was interesting.
So did you have any besides the weight gain, did you have any other real effects? Like, did you notice any pain coming back or anything like that?
Yeah, I didn't have any pain, but I just didn't feel quite as well, and, I would also say that I had some uh, sinus stuff going on, right? And I did drink a can of alcohol, um, that was what, Saturday night, and then I guess it was no, that was Friday night. That was Friday night, and then it was, like, Saturday evening that I started to notice the sinus thing, and this is the
Wow.
2nd time in a row now, the last time being about a month ago that I had some alcohol, and I started to have sinus issues. So, I used to have sinus issues a lot before carnivore, and I think maybe I just never noticed before that alcohol causes sinus problems for me.
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah. It caused a lot of falling down problems for me. So
Yeah.
but, it's kind of it's understandable when you think, like, you reintroduce something which is 100% manufactured, like, it's gonna have some negative effects on your body, but when you kind of think about that and then you extrapolate it to everything you were doing in your life prior to finding carnivore, and it's like, I was basically pumping this stuff into my body all day, every day. No wonder I was always feeling so bad, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. So how is your egg thing going that you had that egg challenge from the weekend?
So, it was a struggle. I think the biggest struggle I had, though, was looking at 24 eggs in the frying pan before I put the heat on and thinking, "How am I going to do this?" But, the when we got into it once I was about 2/3 of the way through, I was feeling a little bit like, "Oh, I've probably had enough." But then I just had a little bit more and I thought, "Oh, I'm nearly at the end. I can finish this off." The funny thing was, though, the next day, I felt great for the rest of the day. I even had a steak for lunch. So, like, a couple of hours later, I ate a steak, and so I didn't feel bloated or anything like that. But the next day, when I cracked that first egg for breakfast, and it was like my body just had this kind of feeling like, "Do I really wanna do this?" It was like my body was kinda almost making me feel a little bit nauseous, and then that lasted maybe 20 or 30 seconds, and then I was over it. But there was just that moment where I kinda the first time ever, I've just kinda stepped back and gone, "Do I really wanna have another egg?" But, yeah, it didn't last long, and things are back to normal now, so I don't think I'll be doing it
That's good.
again. But do you think you could be persuaded into doing it?
I don't know that so here's my first problem that I'm thinking with that. Um, I had an issue the last 2 times I ate eggs where I got, um, stomach cramps, and
Mm,
well, the first time I kinda got stomach cramps and then even a little bit of, you know, loose stool, let's say,
mm,
right? Um, and I kinda thought, "Okay, well, maybe there's something wrong with the eggs, but I'm not really sure." Someone else ate some eggs from that carton, and I was like, "Great, they're gonna get sick." They didn't get sick at all. So I'm like, "Huh, okay." So a few days later, there were a couple more eggs left in that carton. The first time, by the way, I had 8 eggs, so it was a pretty decent amount. So this time I had just 2 eggs, and, same thing kinda happened that I got
ah,
the stomach cramps. So right now, I'm staying away from eggs. It's been like week and a half, 2 weeks here or so. Um, I'm gonna have to get, enough, nerve to eat eggs again, I think, and see if it was just some kind of fluky thing or if something has happened. because I never had a problem like that before, right?
Mm.
So, I don't know. It's interesting. I'll have to see. But if I don't
Alright.
have a problem with it, I could attempt that challenge. It'll be
Let
interesting.
let me let me change the parameter let me change the constraints then. Do you think
Okay.
you could be persuaded to do the 24 ribeye challenge?
So, would that be like I mean, what would that be? Like
24 ribeyes in
24
an hour?
well, what's are they like what size are they? Are they like 6
I don't know,
ounces?
I don't know. So,
Jeez.
okay, 6 ounces. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, so that'd be
Is
like
that even
4
possible? I'm
is
not
that
sure
like
what 6 ounces is, so
that's not
that's yeah,
I don't
I'm not
know,
sure what that
that's
is in
harder to
metric.
calculate, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be like 10 pounds or something. Ooh, no. Wouldn't it? I'm thinking,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Am I thinking
Okay.
right? Well, so let's see, what could we come up with the ribeye? The most I've ate in a single setting was, um, it was a 40 ounce, so that was 2.5 pounds. It was one of the
Wow.
tomahawk ribeyes, it was a 40 ounce. That was
Wow.
really kinda tough, but I did make it through it, so that was good. Um, but it was kind of a little bit
Mm,
tough, so I don't know.
yeah. That when you say it in pounds, that's when it really starts to hit home when you're talking that way. 2.5 pounds. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been eating between a pound and a pound and a half, ribeyes, and this is what I did really in the spring as well, and when I do that, um, I have trouble eating more than that, and I don't wanna eat again that day. So, usually when
Mm.
I go to the ribeye thing, that's when I go back to OMAD, and that's how it's been the last couple days again, so
Okay. So, there's a you got it there. Yeah, Adam's
yeah.
listening to the live stream while in a Brazilian steakhouse. Nice.
Do you see the
Must have
Philly?
eaten 3 pounds of delicious
Oh,
steak.
geez.
Oh, awesome. Speaking of, pounds of steak.
Yeah.
Wow,
How much steak do you
nice.
think you could eat at one setting?
I don't know, like, I think eating, like, a steak is probably easier than if you measured the same amount of pounds in ground beef. Like, I think the those pounds in ground beef, I think it's so dense
Hmm,
that, that's a bit harder, but because yeah, when you say 2.5 pounds or 3 pounds, I'm thinking of that size in ground beef and thinking there's just no possible way. Um, I don't know. Maybe a pound and a half would be I think I'd be
yeah,
okay with that.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
Yeah,
sure I could go more than that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
did I tried a pound and a half once, but I also had, like, 4 eggs with it, and I didn't make it all the way through. So,
mm,
you might be able to eat
okay.
better than me, but I
Yeah.
mean, you
I mean, I'm doing a real guesstimate here. It's a real guesstimate. So
yeah.
So, gotta say, anyone, if you've got any questions or you want to chat about anything in particular, please, doesn't have to be a question, just could be a discussion point. Please put a Q in front and we'll jump into that. And also, I'm not sure total how many people we've got on with us, Brian. Do you have a number there?
I see 28, 29
Tw
now
Nice.
that I see.
So, if those 29 people, if you could do us a massive favor and smash the like button if you haven't already, whichever channel you're on, that will help us to get more people into the live stream and, we'll get more discussion going and, yeah, should be good. So,
Yeah.
onegaishimasu.
So Mike says that he has no issue with 2.5 pounds of ribeye, and he
Oh,
had it for
wow.
dinner tonight. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's a lot. That's hard for me, but, I don't know.
If it's just ribeye though, like if there's no eggs, nothing else, no bacon, nothing else, I mean, that's maybe gonna be a little bit easier, right? Like half the
Yeah.
time my problem is I eat so many eggs. So if I cut out
Yeah.
the eggs totally, then I could probably do a lot more.
Right.
Mm. And so Aid's also saying here, I eat 2.5 pounds of fatty ground beef 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
1 kilo.
wow.
That really sounds a lot. That I mean,
It does.
I'm doing half of that, but yeah, 1 kilo. When it's said as 1 kilo, that sounds like a lot. That's like, a third of a baby or something. That's wow.
Strikes me that after a
110c.
year, I still look forward to them every day. Yeah. I mean, I'm like that too, you know.
Yeah.
I try not to eat ribeye every day because it's more expensive, but I could I could eat ribeye every day. I love it.
Hmm. I've never ever, um I mean, I only eat that once a day, but that one time a day, I've never ever like said to myself, "Oh, I can't eat any more beef or I can't eat any more steak or something like that." I'm always looking forward to it, which
Yeah.
is the best thing about this diet. You never get tired of what it is that you can eat.
Yep. So let's see here. Mike said that he also had 6 hard-boiled eggs with that steak. So he had 6 hard-boiled
Wow.
eggs and 2.5 pounds of steak. I'm impressed.
I'm really impressed. Wow. And
Yeah.
hard-boiled eggs, that's what we were talking about on the weekend. Like, imagine that 24 egg challenge that we did on the weekend. Imagine it was 24 hard-boiled eggs. Those hard-boiled eggs are tough to eat, right?
Mhm.
And super satiating because you're eating them much slower than any other way of eggs being prepared.
Yeah.
So, wow, I'm impressed, Mike.
Let's see what was
Um,
Adam saying here. Good Brazilian places are amazing. They want to fill you up on the salad bar, but as carnivores, we get our money's worth for sure. You know, there's a
mm,
Brazilian steakhouse that's not too far from where I live, and I've never been there. I need to go there because I've heard it's really good, especially if you're into steak. That's all I'm going to eat there. So I
yeah.
definitely need to try it.
There's a Brazilian place near us as well that my friends rave about, and I've never been there. I really got to try it out. It's just down the road. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, hey, Chad's in. How you doing, Chad?
Oh, hello. We have a question, I think, here. Let me get to
Mm.
it. All right. If you can you go back to your first week on Carnivore and tell us about your week? So why don't you start with that one, Dave?
Okay, so if I go back to my first week, my first week is technically not my first week because I started with keto. So I was already kind of half of the way there anyway. Um, and basically, um, I ate breakfast late one day, and it was on the weekend sometime, and I think it was a Sunday. Ate breakfast late, had nothing in the house except eggs. So I had a big lot of eggs all scrambled up with cheese on it, and it wasn't 24 eggs this time, but it was a lot of eggs. And because I'd eaten so late, I didn't eat again during the day. And that was kind of the start of two things for me. That was the start of um, the transition into carnivore, and also the immediate switch over to OMAD. So following that, I felt a bit better that day, and I'd been watching that Ken Berry video where he talks about how vegetables were, something that would cause allergies and, extended bathroom time and stuff like that. And so those are things I've been battling with, and everything just kind of lined up. And so, from then I was carnivore. But because of the way I went into it, because it was kind of, through keto, and because I'd done keto before and that kind of thing, I other than the bathroom time, I can't really think of anything to do with cravings or whatever that I was suffering, or any keto flu or anything like that that I went through. How about you, Brian?
So, like you, I started with keto, and so because of that, I guess, um, I didn't have some of the issues that people have when they go jump straight into carnivore, so that was good. Um, and I can't really say that I remember what I ate, but I'm pretty sure I started out just eating steak because I was like, when I was like looking at carnivore, I was like, wait, I can just eat steak every day and that's healthy for me. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, right?
I'm down.
Yeah. So, but I did eat twice a day to start. And I remember I was like, this seems crazy. There's no way I can do OMAD, but I'll do the twice a day. So I did start twice a day, and I actually did it that way for quite a while. Um, so yeah, I think I just pretty much made steaks and that first week, um, I think I had maybe a little bit of some heart palpitations and um I think if I remember correctly, that first week or so, the some of the arthritis in my big toes seemed a little worse. And I don't know if that could have been maybe oxalate dumping or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't really know there. Um, so yeah, the first week was kind of like that, but um, I would say a few weeks in is when I started to notice the relief. So it was kind of interesting that I did, and I've heard other people say that where sometimes they've in certain things that they've had problems with, they feel a little bit more pain that first week or 2, and then it seems to go away.
Yeah. That's interesting. When I think about my situation with you know, the arthritis and all the improvements that I've had, um, it's very hard for me to kind of say at this point I had, these improvements, because it was so gradual. And I fell into carnivore. Like, I wasn't, there was no intention ever to go to carnivore, because it was always just keto to try and control the alcohol and that kind of thing. So it was, I think me noticing the improvements I had, it was much longer. It took a lot longer than the improvements actually happening, if you know what I mean. So, like, let's say if
Mm,
my arthritis cleared up within 3 weeks or something like that, I maybe didn't notice it for 2 months. And I was just walking around like normal, and then suddenly thought, hang on a second, I'm not getting any pain anymore. It's all that stuff for me is all super fuzzy.
mm,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just, yeah, over time it's improved. But I've got a question for you, Brian, that
Okay.
we were talking about on the weekend. We had an awesome question from someone on the stream on Sunday. Who would be on your carnivore Mount Rushmore?
Oh,
So I think
so
for me,
I saw the clip of you and Larry talking about this.
okay.
Wow. So Mount Rushmore. Let's see. So that would be like 4, right? Is that
Mhm.
what I'd be picking 4?
Yeah.
Well, I I think I have to start with Dr. Camberry. Um, he really is where I got started looking even at keto stuff, and then from there started looking at carnivore. So I'm gonna put him on there. Um, wow, this is really tough to come up with just 4. So I'm trying to think here to get it right so that I don't, miss somebody that I should have in there. But um, I'm gonna say and this one might be a little bit different, but I'm gonna say Professor Bart K, because he really can break down the scientific side of things very well. Um, and from what I've seen, he can pretty much debate with anybody, though he does get a bit choice with his words and stuff, but, um, so I'm gonna go with him.
Okay, so
Um,
far we're 2 for 2.
it's 2, okay. Um, and then wow, this is okay. So, gonna be Dr. Anthony Chafee. Um, I I like how he's a doctor and he can come very scientific with you on things, very professional, but he also has that very calming and when he talks to you, it just, it seems like he's talking right to you. And so I really like that. Um, and then my fourth one, I'm going to have somebody that's just a regular person from the community that I'm going to pick here. And, because I don't want them to all just be like doctors and, scientists, whatever, right? Because I think that it's important to pick somebody there. And um, so who I'm going to pick here is somebody that basically influenced me right from the beginning. And that is you, Dave Mack. So you're my
Oh,
fourth
thank
person.
you. I'm on Mount Rushmore. Thank you
Yeah,
very
you're
much,
you're
bro.
up there. So you're gonna have to travel all the way from Japan, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you know, I know I've told you this before, but you influenced me right from the beginning, and I was able to watch your channel because I was just, like maybe a month or two behind you in starting Carnivore. So when you started your channel, I was just a couple months in. Um,
Mm,
and that was good for me to kind of watch your channel and see how just a regular ordinary person was doing it and so forth. So
mm. Oh, well, thank you. Well,
yeah.
we got 2 the same. We got 2 the same.
Okay.
So we both picked Berry, we both picked K.
Okay.
Um, we you mentioned Chafee and I'd said Baker. And
Okay.
then I tried to pick something out of the box as well. So like you went for the ordinary carnivore. What I did is I said, I'm going to take Joe Rogan and
Mm.
Jordan Peterson and put them into one person. So it's going to be like the Rogerson or the Peter Gan or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I
All right.
guess they talked about it so much at the beginning that really kind of got the word out there, right?
Yeah. And they reach so
Mm,
many people.
mm.
All right. There's a couple of chats here I want to bring up. So
Awesome.
Chad had almost 3 pounds, 2.75 pounds of ribeye
Wow.
today. And then
Nice.
look at this. His boy had 2.5, but he did have a little bit left over. But his
Four
boy at 14 years old is training very well.
14.
Almost 2.5 pounds of ribeye. That's great.
Wow, nice.
And Tanya says 102 in Texas. I'm
Wow.
guessing that's the real temperature, not the humidity or the heat index. So that is hot.
Yeah.
Let's see if I
I've
can catch up if we have any questions here.
I've got to do it while you're doing that. I'm just gonna do the conversion again. So because the like most stuff, pounds to kilos and all that kind of thing's easy, right? It's a really straightforward calculation, but Fahrenheit to Celsius is difficult. It's like, add 3, multiply by 25, and add a chair or something. And it's the okay, 102. What's that? That's hot. 39 degrees. Wow. And the other day, I heard it was 109 in Texas the other day. That's 42 degrees. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and it's humid there too, right? So that's gonna be much worse
Right.
than it is here. Yeah,
Right.
it's like winter here in comparison.
Yeah. So here's Mike's Mount
Ah,
Rushmore. He's got Dr. Chafee, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Baker, and Professor K.
nice.
Uh,
I
didn't
think
connect
only
with Dr.
only
Berry. Yeah, I think
uh
the thing with Dr. Berry is he has so many subscribers and so because of that and all the viewership he gets, he's pushed out there by YouTube a lot. So a lot of people see his videos. Um, so that's kind of where I got that's the first person I saw, and I didn't pick Dr. Baker, but I know like both you and Mike said Dr. Baker in there, Mount Rushmore. I definitely watch his videos too. I just kind of went with Chafee over Dr. Baker because of um, he just seems more personable to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
For
so that's why I picked him over Dr. Baker.
for me, Dr. Baker stood out mainly because after Dr. Berry, Baker was the next one that I kind of discovered, and I started to watch his podcast a lot, where he was. I mean, honestly, I feel the most influential thing about Dr. Baker for me was the fact he was interviewing regular people on his
Mm,
podcast. Yeah, that
yeah.
I think that was the most influential thing for me about him. But I mean, I agree. Dr. Chafee is an awesome advocate, and I think for me, I mean, this probably goes for most of the doctors in our space, but especially for Dr. Chafee, where you say he's got that calm demeanor. I think um, that he's got the perfect kind of debate demeanor, like because he can argue the facts perfectly and never get
Mhm.
ruffled. He's
Yeah.
just cool, he's just calm, and he's just happy to state and restate the facts. Like I remember when I interviewed him the first time, and I just put a question to him, and I said, "What why do you think carnivore's okay when Michael Greger is out there saying that meat causes diabetes?" And he just thought for a second, and he just went, "Because I know the science."
Yeah. So here's a good comment. I had keto flu for 4 weeks. I was miserable, but I knew I had to push forward because going back to the standard American diet way of eating was literally death. I'm down 90 pounds a year later. Glad I kept it going. Great job with the 90 pounds.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really good.
Yeah. 4 weeks of keto flu. Wow. So that seems a little bit longer than most people, I think, right? Most people talk about 2 weeks or so. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
she stuck with it. I'm glad you stuck with it and look at what it's done for you. That's amazing.
Yeah, that shows a lot of a real sizable amount of willpower that you could stick it out for that long, and it's paid off. That's awesome.
Hmm. Yeah. Let's see here. 57 and feeling better than I have in decades. That's great.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice work, Harry. Who else we got? Sorry, I'm just looking at a comment from Aid at
Uh,
7:31
yeah. Here we go.
Eastern. 1 egg per week raises your chance of having a heart attack by 65%, but it's okay to drink Bud Light. Good old Dr. Gregor. No, hang on. 1 egg per week may raise your chance of having a heart attack by 65%. He couches everything with may, so he gets away with it.
Yeah. Wonder about 24 eggs in 24 hours, or
Yeah,
in 1
I
hour. I'm
mean,
sorry, in 1 hour.
according to Michael Greger, I should be pushing up the daisies by now.
Yeah. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Put a Q in front so it's easy for us to find them.
Hmm. And if you haven't smashed like yet, please smash the like button.
Yeah.
I'm
We've
like
got
a broken
41
record,
viewers on.
but
We got 41 viewers on right now. So,
oh, nice, nice. That's up. So see, it works. It works. Definitely works.
yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
while we're waiting for questions, let's see. So you had mentioned before, I think that ribeye is hard to get in Japan, right? Is that right?
In restaurants you can get it, but like
Okay. But
it's
like at the grocery
difficult to
stores?
get. Yeah, it's difficult to get stuff at the grocery store.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how? Is that why you mostly just eat ground beef and eggs then, because it's hard to get?
That's part of the reason. So, part of the reason is, yeah, it's just difficult to get good cuts of anything else. Like, you can get that sliced beef stuff, but, like, I find that that actually does get a little bit boring from time to time. So I just stick with the ground beef because, yeah, it's easy to get, and, also, I'm quite time poor. Like, I mean, everyone's under time pressure, I get that, but my shopping time and also my preparation time is so minimal. Like, if I literally, if I don't wake up at exactly the right time and, get my window of time in the kitchen when my wife and my daughter are not in the kitchen and all that kind of thing, then it pushes everything else out for the day. So potentially, I can't make a video and all this kind of thing. So just the making videos is one of the reason I eat ground beef.
Hmm, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we got a
So,
question from Chad here,
oh, awesome.
and I think this is geared towards you since you're in Japan. Do you have a Costco anywhere near you?
I do. I have a Costco, 2 train stations away. It's very close.
Hmm,
Um, I don't have a Costco membership, but that is actually a good point. I could go to Costco. Um, yeah, it would then just be a matter of having the space to store it in my place. But, I mean, actually, the freezer's big enough to store a fair bit. So that's a very good point. I often forget the Costco is so close.
all right. Thank you for your daily chats, Mandy says. She truly appreciates it.
Cheers, Mandy.
And Adam, what does A5 Wagyu cost in Japan? Is it readily available and affordable? And have you tried it?
So my question is, what is A5? Do you do you know, Brian?
I've only heard it as Wagyu, so I don't know what A5.
Yeah. Let me just do a quick Google search. What is A5 Wagyu? Oh, highest yield grade meat quality. The highest yield grade and meat
Hmm.
is A5. Where they tend not to measure stuff like that here. I get that might be an American thing or just generally a Western thing. But so I have had very good Wagyu beef in Japan. Um, after I treated myself after there was one day where I was staying away from home and I was in a hotel. And while I was in the hotel, I did 2 live streams and an interview. And that day, I thought I'm going to treat myself to a nice steak for lunch, given that I'm in the city. And so I went out for a steak, and I had a Wagyu steak prepared in a teppanyaki restaurant. And it was very expensive, but it was really, really good. Yeah,
Hmm.
probably one of the best steaks I've ever had. But
Hmm.
was it A5 or I'm not sure because yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And but no, it's not affordable here. They charge ridiculous prices. Like the one I had at the time was more than it was about $200.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
All right. So let's go back to Costco. Chad says you definitely need to go there. And then
done.
Susie
Ah,
says we get
beef
some
and lamb
decent
at
beef and
Costco.
lamb. I just picked up lamb at Costco this weekend. Sunday it was. So they had a pretty good
Actually,
price on it.
that's a good point about lamb. Lamb's really hard to get in Japan, so that might be a good option for me to get some lamb.
Mm,
Yeah. And I was very happy the other day. My daughter had lamb for the first time in her life the other day when we went out to a restaurant, and she absolutely loved it. I've
It
never
is.
seen her eat meat. Like she was just holding the lamb chop like this and just "Ah."
And let's see. Tanya says that I think you can get a day pass at Costco.
Oh
I know
wow.
I have a yearly membership, but that that's something to look at if you can get a daily pass,
Mm, yeah.
day pass.
Oh wow.
Let's see. Okay, we got another
Uh
question here.
Chad's got a oh,
Oh,
okay.
where was Chad?
We can. So Chad's a couple up. It's not a question. It's just mentioning the A5.
Oh yeah, I see it. Here we go.
He's got a comment. So I watched a show on some Japan farmers that raise cows. They do not like the A5 grade as much. Ah,
Hmm.
interesting. Wow. So they do not like. You mean the farmers don't like that grading system, or like the farmers feel their cows are better than that, or my cows are better than your cows. Okay, cool.
Okay.
You want to go to
So
AIDS question?
let's yeah, let's go to the question here. Movie Austin
Movie.
Powers. Should fat bastard have tried carnivore instead of calorie restriction in order to lose weight and his baby the other white meat?
Yes, that's right. Fat bastard should have tried it. You know what? If you're a Monty Python fan as well, the guy in The Meaning of Life that has the wafer thin mint that makes him explode, he should have just had a lamb chop or a ribeye or something, and he would have been fine. Instead, he shouldn't have eaten that mint.
um so Chad says he got New Zealand lamb from Sam's Club today. So I'm trying to remember the lamb I got. Was it from New Zealand? From Costco? It was New Zealand or Australian lamb.
Mm,
Yeah. Think it was a pretty similar price. It might have been like 5.99 or 6.99. I can't remember. So it sounds like it was probably similar price to what Sam's Club had.
nice. That's something I'm gonna
Okay.
have to eat when I'm back in Australia.
Natasha says, Dave, besides Dr. Barry, you were the first person I followed when I started carnivore. 48-year-old female down 35 pounds since April 9th of this year. Sorry. Started because of pain in my neck from work. Congratulations, 35 pounds.
Congratulations, Natasha. That's awesome. And so you were born in 1974? Wow. Same age and everything.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Here, Adam says Costco has the. All right. So it is from New Zealand. Yep. That's the one that
Okay.
I got over the weekend. All right. We have another question. How much are eggs and ground beef around the world? Here in Brazil, a dozen of eggs is less than $2, and a kilogram of ground beef is four $4 upwards, I guess. But we are a
Wow.
low income country. That's yeah. So
That's
eggs in the
cheap.
U.S. is if it's just regular eggs, not the organic whatever cage free, then those are less than $2 in most places. But the cage free ones are probably $3 to $4 a dozen.
Mm,
Um, the ground beef, I'm not sure the translation between kilograms to pounds, but you can get like a pound of ground beef, like Costco, for instance, for $3.99 a pound.
okay. So a kilo of ground beef would be about 2.2 pounds.
Okay, wow. So yeah, you're
Mm,
looking $8 or $9 probably for that.
mm,
Mm.
wow. So in Japan, the regular eggs, would be about equivalent in US dollars, be about $2.20 for 10. And a kilo of ground beef in Japan would be Um, 15, $16,
Hmm,
something like that. Yeah.
okay. Oh, let me go to this before the question about the Wagyu meat marbling score called BMS
Ah,
goes from 1 to 12. It's a Japanese and world standard for Wagyu marbling score. Hmm,
okay. BMS.
yeah.
Ah.
All right. And Mike has a question. Are there any non scale health issues you are trying to heal, or it's just a lifestyle now going forward?
Hmm.
What do you say,
For
Dave?
me, for me, it's just yeah, it's just a lifestyle now. I just can't now. I'm just at the point that I can't ever see any reason to go back. I can't see why I would ever want to go back to a regular way of eating. This is it for me now. How about you, Brian?
Yeah. I think, outside of continuing to lose some weight and body fat, probably I'm probably pretty good with healing things. So I think I'm at the same point at this point where it's a lifestyle. It particularly works better when I don't, destroy my lifestyle like I did over the weekend with some bread and a donut and stuff. That wasn't very smart of me. So hopefully I'll learn from that mistake. But yeah, it's I don't have any intention of going away from doing carnivore. In fact, so I know at least some of you that have been watching my channel, and Dave, you know that my kids, all three of my kids, in the last couple of weeks have gone off um, to college or whatever. So they're all moved out, and nobody else in my family has been doing any of this. They've been eating the regular standard American diet. And my wife just told me that she's going to go low carb and start with keto and probably transform from there over time into carnivore. So I'm pretty excited about that. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, like today basically was like day one for her. So we'll see how that goes. And it'll be nice because, the two of us without the kids at home, it'll make it a lot easier to make it a lifestyle for both of us.
Hmm. And what is she hoping to like heal things, or she just wants to eat a healthier lifestyle, or?
Um, so she hasn't really said to me if she's trying to heal anything. She does have a little bit of back pain here and there sometimes, and um, sometimes she gets anxiety. But outside of that, she's been pretty healthy. Um, so I think that she'll probably want to lose a little bit of weight with it, but it's more of just a healthy eating lifestyle. She
Hmm.
wasn't like as big as me or anything where she has that much weight to lose, and didn't have as many issues like with arthritis and stuff like that like I had. So
Hmm. Wow. Well, it's very good news.
yeah.
Hmm.
So Scott says he has been carnivore 1 year. So this is interesting. He gained 10 pounds, but dropped from 15% to 8% body fat in that same year. And this is why sometimes, we talk about non-scale stuff because not everybody is going to carnivore because they need to lose weight, right? Like in his case, he actually gained some weight, probably from all the
Hmm.
muscle that he built up, but his body fat percentage went lower, so he lost some body fat there. And 8% body fat, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I mean I made the what I think is a mistake now as well, but that's why I think it's a mistake to be weighing yourself all the time when especially at the beginning, because you end up making yourself depressed because you could be replacing fat with muscle and be going, "Oh, nothing's ever changing. I'm staying the same weight." It's much better to just look in the mirror and go, "Do I look better? than yesterday or last week? And do I feel better than yesterday and last week? And if the answer is yes to either or both of those questions, then you know you're on the right track, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also says that he'll never eat any other way. He may cheat a little bit with Ketovore. And that's a good point, like if you're gonna go off the somebody actually so I made a video recently, I think it was today, about the weekend, how I didn't eat very well. And somebody made the point, um, if you're gonna go off of your diet, try, the best is to try and still at least stay keto and so forth, right? So
Mm.
that's exactly what he says here. That's a good point. Obviously, I failed that too. So with the donut, I think that donut, it just, yeah, that was. I'm not even gonna talk about it anymore. That's enough. Talking about the donut. And Pekka says I have longer and longer zero carb binges, and my cravings are all the time weaker. And I consider myself sugar and alcohol addict. Now on day 36 of almost zero carb. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
You got this. It's, yeah. Every day it's just going to get that little bit easier.
Hmm.
Mm.
We've got a question here. So Ron at Overcoming Carbs. Dave, do you eat out in Japan? If so, what is your go-to place and meal?
I do eat out in Japan. And Japan's actually pretty easy if you're a carnivore because it's kind of normal to go to a restaurant here and just eat meat in the restaurant. So they have barbecue restaurants, basically Korean barbecue restaurants. They call them yakiniku restaurants. So that's kind of one go-to place. And the other is teppanyaki. Now, teppanyaki restaurants that you would see in America or Australia or the UK are not the teppanyaki restaurants that you get in Japan, right? So teppanyaki restaurants in Western countries tend to be, where they're throwing food at you. You're wearing an apron and you're trying to catch the food in your mouth like a circus clown or something like that. That's not what an actual teppanyaki restaurant is like. Basically, they just prepare your steak and the side dishes in front of you on a big grill. And you can go into those restaurants and you can ask for steak only, and they'll make a really nice steak for you. So those are kind of the type of places that I would go to.
Okay.
Mm.
So Pekka said that he used to cheat 1 to 2 days per week, was still doing great, but the addiction was stronger. That's
Mm.
that's definitely what I see too. Like for me, just even cheating one time, it causes the cravings and the sugar addiction, right? Um, so that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. It's interesting. Like I'm not really hungry. Like right now, I'm not hungry, but before we got on this, I'm only a couple days away from the weekend where I ate so bad. And before we got on this live stream, I was like, what do I want to get to eat here before this live stream? And then I was finally like, wait a minute, why do I want to do that? I'm not hungry. But it was like, the craving is there and it makes you think that you should be eating and stuff.
So that's interesting because it's been well over 12 months since I've had that feeling ever. It must have been, you must have gone quite a stretch as well yourself without feeling that kind of what am I going to eat now kind of thing when you're not actually hungry. So like,
Mhm.
was it a little bit alarming when you had that thought today?
Yeah, I don't know if it was alarming, but I was just like, at least I caught myself and I didn't do it right. But
Mm,
I was like, wow. Um, yeah, like I've had some times before here where I've had something I shouldn't, a little carb or something, and right after you eat it, you're like, okay, I want to eat something else. And it's like, oh wait, yeah, no, I don't. That's just the craving. But that's like kind of it, right? And maybe you deal with it for a couple days, whatever. But I really ate like, I don't know, like 3 meals in a row over the weekend badly, and
yeah.
it's definitely been harder on me because of that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see the difference between you and I now, Brian. The difference between you and I is you have an off switch, I don't. So, like, everything you're saying, I'm kind of putting in my context, and I'm thinking about it in my context, right? So, um, but I, for me, carbohydrates are not much different than alcohol. Like if I
Mhm.
have, if you have another drink of alcohol again, um, I'll be straight back into it, and it'd be, I know I'd be the same with carbs, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Lana says she used to have anxiety for years. It went away, and suddenly I realized I'm not anxious anymore. So, congratulations. Great job with
yeah.
that.
Awesome.
And
Congratulations, Lana.
I'm actually curious, Lana, if you could let us know in the chat how long, you've been carnivore, how long it took for you to notice that your anxiety went away. That would be great
Mm,
if you could tell us in the chat. Oh, going back to Scott, he is 64 years young. So he's the one that had gained weight but lost body fat. So obviously he built up some muscle at 64 years young. Great job.
mm. Clearly, people can't gain muscle after 60, lol. Yeah, and you need carbs to gain muscle too.
Right. So we got another question for you, Dave. What is the Japanese standard diet?
Um, it's so if you think of, the food pyramid from home, think of the food pyramid from home, replace the bread with rice, and it's really not that much different. Um, there's more meat as far as fresh meat goes, there's still junk food is more of a treat than it would be in Western countries. Um, like you might go to McDonald's more regularly in Australia or America than you would here. But, it's still, I'd say it's 80% of the way there. You just take the bread and actually they're big bread eaters now too. So there's not a lot of difference.
Okay.
They're eating it with chopsticks. That's the big difference.
Oh, so Lana replied, I'm going to bring her reply up here.
Eight
All
months.
right, 8 months carnivore. The anxiety went away about 3 months in. That's good. I was on the way to the
Nice.
airport, which causes a lot of anxiety, but I forget, etc. And I realized I wasn't anxious at all. That is great.
That's
Congratulations, Lana.
nice.
Yeah. Dwayne says he loves your live streams.
Hey, Dwayne.
Thanks.
Dwayne was on. I interviewed Dwayne yesterday,
Hmm.
so his interviews on my channel. It was great talking to him, and he's had a lot of success on Carnivore.
All right, we got a couple of questions here. Let's see. So, Brian, are you going to jump in on Dave and I having a fun workout challenge?
Oh yes, you
So you're
should.
gonna have to tell me about the workout challenge because I have been working out a little bit, but it's been a month and a half since I last worked out, and I was thinking like I really need to start working out again. So what's the challenge? I need to know.
It's like a muscle building or a getting in shape challenge without. Tell me if correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but it's like without having to go to the gym. So it's like working out at home or working out some way without having to go to the gym and just kind of, having some before and after results.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So if I have so does it have to be like free, like no weights, or can if you have your own weights at home, can you use those?
Um, I think Chad's just saying here, I think we have to work out the details still, but fun, yeah,
Okay.
without gym getting strong. Yeah, getting strong and healthy without the gym.
Okay.
But whether if it's free weights at home, we haven't really talked about the details that far yet.
Okay.
But yeah, he's saying
Oh, you
next,
can
you
do
can
whatever
do
you want.
whatever you want. Yeah,
Okay. Alright, I'm in. I'm in
yeah.
on the challenge.
Awesome. Awesome.
Alright, so we got another question. This one here is for you, Dave. Did you recover from the eggs or did your cat eat some?
No, I recovered. Um, it's also I think one of the really cool things about, being on this kind of lifestyle is you can eat that much food and not feel bloated at all. Like, if you ate that same volume of food with, a regular diet, you'd be unbuckling your pants and you'd be like sliding down in your chair and you'd be like falling asleep and stuff. Um, yeah. So it was good. There wasn't much recovery required apart from that getting over the first kind of nauseous feeling when I went to cook eggs the next day.
Alright. I think I missed a question, so I'm trying to find it. Um, and it might have been up further, so I
Let's see it.
apologize.
Let's see if I can see it.
See, it was from Susie Underwood.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. We're looking. Oh, here it is. 7:38 Eastern.
7:38. Okay. Oh, here we go. Was your favorite
What?
lamb cut or preparation?
Um, I just like basic lamb chops, me. Yeah, nothing fancy. Well, I don't know if I'd have this now, but rosemary on it is usually rosemary sprinkled all over the top is nice. How
Okay.
about you, Brian?
So I like to get the leg of lamb and basically smoke it in I have a pellet grill. So it doesn't get quite as smoky as a regular smoker, but it does pretty good. I also recently got one of those little tubes that can go inside. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to use that pretty soon the next time I smoke. So that will help to get it smokier inside the pellet grill as well. So that's the way I like to do it. Um, Same way I like to do like pulled pork. I do the same thing, and really all I use for seasoning, for the most part, is salt. I might use um, a little bit of a dry rub of some sort that doesn't have any sugar to it, but most of the time it's just like salt, just because I want to stay away from most of the seasonings.
Mm, and salt's good.
Yeah. So Ron says moderation works for carb addiction like it does for an alcoholic. So when we were talking about that
100%.
before, that's exactly what
100%.
you were saying. Yeah. All right. So I gotta catch up again. I was at like 7:38.
I wish we could collaborate on the comments. So just so
Mhm.
everyone's aware, like the only person that can manage the comments is the person who's hosting the live stream. So, you know, the only way I can help out is if I'm calling stuff out,
Yeah.
which is a bit yeah, I can't say, oh, hang
Oh,
on.
Nicole is here.
Hey
Hey,
Nicole,
Nicole.
how you doing? I love lamb chops too. Just smoked salt. Oh, nice. There's a question from Lana, I think at 8 o'clock, 8:01.
801. Okay. Let me put this up real quick before we get to the
Oh,
question.
okay.
You can read it while I look for the question.
Sure. Dave, I discovered you on Homestead How and you've become a favorite. Love your accent. Oh, thank you. Your laugh and your common sense. Brian, I will to your channel. Former Fat Girl, you're a new channel. Nice.
Mm,
Thank
thank you.
you, Cher Gregory. Thank you very much. And yeah, very nice to meet you today.
Yep. Okay, here's a question. Lana, have you found your taste for food getting smaller and smaller as time goes by, as in less variety? What do you think, Dave?
Um, I guess it is, yeah, because I just don't feel like eating other stuff. You know, I'm never, like, looking in a shop window going, "Oh, I'd love to eat that," or I'm never, walking around the supermarket thinking, "Oh, I just might add that little side dish," or, "Oh, I'd love to have that on top of my steak," or whatever, just nothing. Just eggs and beef, quite happy with that. How about you, Brian?
Um, yeah, sometimes I want to kind of broaden things and I'll have chicken wings or chicken thighs, that kind of stuff. Um, but really, most of the time, it's ground beef, steak, eggs, bacon. That's about it most of the time.
Mm.
Okay. Chad talking about the dry brine. And then someone asked about what the dry brine is. So Chad's got me doing dry brine now, by the way. But let's go into his answer for what brine is. So I have a short in a video on my channel about it. It's salting the meat, putting it on a rack or on the sheet pan, whatever, in your fridge for a day. So 24 hours, whatever. Um, yeah, the meat absorbs all the salt. And so what I've done following that is I will, and he didn't mention that here, but I'm sure he does the same thing. I'll take it out of the fridge like 30, 45 minutes beforehand to let it come to room temperature and then I cook it. Um, so yeah, exactly what he says there.
Oh,
It, it,
nice.
it, I, I had kind of been doing before, like maybe an hour before cooking that I'd put salt on it. But Chad kept talking about it in like different lives and so forth. So I said, okay, I'm going to try it. And yeah, that's the way I do it every time now. I'm not going to go back
Nice.
because it makes it so much better.
Nice.
And let's see, get caught up again.
You got nothing else there? No, no. So, you've done your dry brining. When you actually cook the steak, how long? Because I don't cook steak at all.
Mhm.
How long does the steak get on each side for you?
I do medium rare.
Mm,
So on my pellet grill, it has a sear option, so I can get it, pretty darkened, I guess, if however you want to say that, um, and still have it, pretty medium rare inside.
mm,
So I typically do medium rare. Sometimes I even go a little bit what some people might say is rare instead of medium rare, but medium rare is kind of the best for me.
mm.
So 8 says blue steak.
Blue steak.
uh, make sure I didn't miss anything else.
There's a question that
Mike Dry
said,
Brian says steaks. Where's the question? Let's see.
at 8:06,
Okay.
Bob.
Yep. How do you stop losing weight when you reach your goal? What would you add to maintain weight? Hmm.
My experience with that is once your body gets to the point where you've lost enough weight, you just stop losing weight, is what I've found. And so I haven't added anything to maintain weight. I've actually removed some stuff like cheese. But yeah, I don't think about it anymore. I stopped weighing myself months ago because it's always kind of the same. The appearance is the same. Yeah. Brian, do you have thoughts on this one?
Um, well, I'm definitely so I don't necessarily have a goal weight, but I definitely have more weight to lose. I have a lot of belly fat that I still need to lose. So I'm not sure how it's gonna work when I get to that point, but I think that if, at least for me, if I'm still losing weight, that um that probably means that I still needed to lose weight, right? Like, I think my body's gonna know when I'm at that ideal weight. So I might think like this is the weight that I should be at, what my goal weight should be, but my body might know better, like, no, you still need to lose a little more weight, and maybe I'll still lose some weight. So
Hmm.
that's kind of my thinking on it. So going back to the medium rare or rare steaks, Mike grills for 8 minutes at 350 until it reaches 90 degrees. So yeah, that's on my pellet grill. I do 350. I go to about 100, 105 usually. Um, so mine's probably a little more medium rare than his.
Hmm. So it's someone that I don't cook steaks. Um, is there a bit of an art to this? Like when you first start doing it, do you mess up pretty easily, like an overcook or undercook, or is it just a matter of literally measuring the temperatures and going, okay, well, it's 90 degrees in the middle, it's perfect.
Yeah, so I have a thermometer, but I don't use it as much now unless I have a different cut of steak than what I'm used to.
Mm,
When I've kind of gotten to the point where I have a certain thickness of steaks. So a lot of times I'll buy steak from Costco. Sometimes I'll buy the ones that are already cut, but I like to buy the ones where I get the whole big slab and I can cut it myself. And I kind of have an idea of how long it takes. So a lot of times I don't even check the temperature anymore. Um, but yeah, doing that sometimes um, it's probably comes out a little more rare than medium rare. So there's that.
mm,
And then my wife is more of a medium steak person. So a lot of times she's like, this is too rare for me. I'm like, well, it's not that bad. But so usually when I do her steaks, I definitely have to get out the thermometer if I want to make sure it's right because I'm not used to doing steaks at a medium. Medium's like too
mm.
done for me. Okay, we have some questions. I see.
Oh, okay.
Um, for Dave and Brian, please name top three steakhouses you have been to in the past. Ooh.
Oh, um, that's tough because mine. There's not really any steakhouses in Japan. Um, I'm going to list three restaurants that I went to when I was in Australia where I had steak in December last year, and I'll tell you which one I think is the best. All three were in Cairns. There was Oliver's, Oka, and Dundee's, I think it's called. And they're all next to each other on the waterfront in Cairns. And of those three, the best steak I had was in Oka. The worst steak that I had was in Dundee's. And also, the light in Dundee's is turned way down too low. So it's almost like they're trying to hide something about the way they're cooking the steak. So I wouldn't recommend that one out of the three at all. Um, yeah, but that's all. Otherwise, in Japan, it's just yakiniku restaurants. How about you, Brian?
So this is a tough question for me because I don't really go to any great steakhouses necessarily. I've been to like Outback, Texas Roadhouse, places like that. Um, I actually prefer my steaks when I cook the steak better. I think that I do a better job when you go at least to one of those more chain type of places. Um, it can be hit or miss, depending on who's cooking it. And I just haven't been going to any like really, you know, great expensive steakhouses. So I don't really have a top 3, I guess. I think I'm trying to remember, is it Outback that cooks the steaks in butter or tallow or something like that? Can't remember if
Oh,
it's Outback.
maybe.
I think it might be.
Yeah, we've got Outback here, but I think
That's the
their
good one.
preparation is probably different in Japan to the States.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. And we got another question here from Nicole. If both of you can only eat one carnivore meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Am I allowed to get someone to prepare it for me? If so, it would be getting a nice fillet steak in a restaurant every day, or maybe a porterhouse steak in a restaurant every day. But I'm cooking myself. I'll just eat ground beef for the rest of my life. What about you, Brian?
For me, it's definitely ribeye. Um, Maybe even say like a nice tomahawk ribeye would be great if I could do
Nice.
that. I'd probably be completely poor if I did that though, because those tomahawks can be pretty expensive. But yeah, ribeye definitely for me.
Nice.
And Ron says, Dave, have you tried Ribera Steakhouse in Japan? Many wrestlers eat there when they visit.
Ribera Steakhouse. I've never heard of it. Let me have a look at this. Do a quick Google. Ribera Steakhouse is a Japanese professional wrestling and boxing mixed martial arts themed steakhouse restaurant.
Hmm.
No, I've never. It's in Tokyo. That's why. So
Mm.
I'm in Osaka. So I do go to Tokyo from time to time, but yeah, I haven't been up. But I will be going there next time I go. Most definitely. Yeah, it's pretty central in Tokyo. It's in Meguro. So yeah, that's on the agenda next time I go to Tokyo. Thanks for the tip.
Most great steakhouses are very pricey. Yeah. So
Mm.
I went to Las Vegas last fall for my 25th wedding anniversary. And I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the famous chefs had a steakhouse there. And um, we looked at the menu on the window and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to spend $200 on a steak. So let's go somewhere else. Um, and I did notice, excuse me, on the west coast of the US, steak was a lot more expensive at the restaurants there than it was on the East Coast where I'm at. So that was interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any ideas why that is?
I don't know. Um,
Mm.
I mean, I kind of get Vegas because it's a touristy place, but even like in California, it's pretty expensive. And maybe that's just California because everything's expensive in California and traffic's a mess. And, I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, and Chad says ribeye over a fire when camping, mood and flavor and hanging out with friends.
nice.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Longhorn. Mike said I like Longhorn, but I need to order double size.
Wow.
I haven't been to Longhorn in quite a few years, but yeah. Bighorn Steakhouses in Norway. Hmm.
Mm. Wow. So everyone everyone's heard of this Longhorn. Nicole's saying she hasn't been to Longhorn in years too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the last time I would have been at Longhorn was when I lived back in the Midwest in Ohio. So that would have been like 17, 18 years ago. Yeah.
Mm.
I've been in the US. I have been to Outback Steakhouse a number of times. It was okay. Yeah.
Mm.
You never know what you're gonna get there. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, I found the same. There's an Outback in Osaka, and I found the same. Like, I've had great steaks there, and I've also had really, really bad ones.
Raven eats the whole cow on the ranch. Chad
Nice.
Fogo, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Fogo de Chao was super good, and all you can eat Brazilian steakhouse.
Ah.
And Nicole says they just opened a Fogo de Chao in walking distance. Hmm. Well, here we go. Here's Longhorn again. It's where I go in
Wow.
Tennessee.
Okay. I have to
In
have a look
Texas
for
State,
that too.
Brazil, a steak buffet. A steak buffet, you can't go wrong with a place like that, right?
Mm. Right?
Saltgrass Steakhouse is the affordable place here in Texas. I've never heard of Saltgrass. Wonder if it's more of like a local to Texas.
Oh, okay. So, is anyone in the stream? How many people are in? About 50 or so?
50. Yep.
Wow. So, is anyone in the stream from Sydney? Where should I be going to get my steaks when I go to Sydney in October? Where I've had a couple of suggestions about restaurants, but one thing they were telling me is in Sydney, if you don't book a restaurant, you are not eating. Is
Mhm.
that what it's like in the States, Brian?
Um, no, like I think more in some of the touristy places it's like that, you know. Um, like I was just in Myrtle Beach and yeah, although a lot of times they don't allow reservations and then you have to sit for like an hour or two to wait, but
Hmm.
yeah. Um so Chad says it can be overpriced, but it's all you can eat. So I think he's talking about the
Oh, the
what was it
Fogo de
called? The
Chao.
Fogo de Chao, yeah. Hmm. So it's all you can eat.
Going hungry.
Susan says hello everyone. So hello
Hey,
Susan.
Susan.
Oh, here we go. The world's best steakhouse is the Port Van Cleve Hotel in Amsterdam. Hmm.
Ooh,
I hope we're making everybody
nice.
hungry by talking about steak nonstop here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Steak futures are gonna go through the roof after this live stream.
Here's something else about Fogo de Chao. Let's see. Most expensive in Brazil. Get a good dinner, eat as much as you like for US 10 to 12. Lunch prices are a few dollars more expensive. Hmm.
Wow,
We
nice.
have a question here.
Okay.
Susie, have you eaten carnivore at an Asian restaurant, Chinese, Vietnamese, etc.? If so, what dishes did you have? Hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think that'd be kind of tough.
Yeah, because most stuff's gonna be covered with, like, lots of sauces or in soups and all this kind of thing, right? I mean, Asian restaurant, Japanese restaurant, yeah, but there's lots of Japanese barbecue restaurants and stuff, so that's easy enough. But other
Hmm.
Asian restaurants, I'm not sure. I haven't tried.
Hmm.
And yeah. Oh, you do alright in Korean because they've got barbecue and stuff, right? I guess, but, outside of Korean and Japanese, I'm not sure.
Okay. Boy, I have this cough going on. I don't know what's going on there. Must be the carbs from the weekend trying to come out.
It's that donut.
Yeah. So I heard there are steakhouse, perhaps in Texas, where they offer 72-ounce steaks. I think the steak challenge is called Big Texan. So, yes, the Big Texan
S s
Steak Ranch. If you go to
72
bigtexan.com,
ounces.
72-ounce steak challenge. Oh, this has the rules. Let me
That's
read this.
4.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Entire meal must be completed in 1 hour. If any of the meal is not consumed, you lose. You'll be allowed to cut into the steak and take one bite before the time starts. Once you have started, you're not allowed to stand up or leave your table or have anyone else touch the meal. You'll be disqualified if anyone assists you in cutting, preparing, or eating your meal. You don't have to eat the fat. Oh, well, that takes the fun out of it. Oh, it says you don't have to eat the fat, but we will judge this. Should you become ill, the contest is over, you lose. You're required to pay the full amount up front. If you win, you will be refunded 100%. You must sit at a table that we assign. If you do not win the steak challenge, you are welcome to take the leftovers with you. No consumption or sharing of the leftovers is allowed in the restaurants once the contest is over. If you fail to complete the challenge, you must pay the full $72. So a 72-ounce steak, $72. That's really not that bad. Um,
So
I don't know that I could
that's
eat 72 ounces though.
what's that? So that's more than 2 kilos of steak. Wow.
Yeah, that's almost 5 pounds of steak. That's
Wow.
that's up there. So, I'm not sure if I'm gonna say this correctly. I hope I do. Lucia Young says, "Just came on. Hello. Just had a steak at Cracker Barrel, but it was only 6 ounces. Very good. I'm still hungry."
Hey, Lucia.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel is a tough one. I've gone there a few times. It it it's interesting, like, usually when you get your entree there, they want you to get, like, 3 sides, and, like, the one time I can't remember what I got, but I was like, "Yeah, I don't want any of the sides," and they're like, "You don't want any of the sides?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Oh, well, do you still wanna pick them out and maybe somebody else wants them?" I was like, "No, I don't want the sides." But she's right, though, there's so many places like Cracker Barrel where if you go there and you're just gonna eat the meat, it's not enough, and that's why they give you all the
Mm.
sides because they wanna fill you up on the sides,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna eat the sides, so
Yeah. So, the interesting thing about Cracker Barrel is when I hear Cracker Barrel, I think cheese because when I was growing up, Cracker Barrel was a brand of cheese in Australia.
yeah. Yeah, I remember, we had that in the US too. I don't know if we still do, but I remember that brand.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering about Chinese food too. A lot of the sauces have sugar in them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and, like, the soy sauce is really bad for you, right?
Mm. And like the oils they cook in, I don't think are the best either.
So going back to the 72-ounce steak, Mike says it's probably too much for him, but if he didn't eat the hard-boiled eggs, he could possibly eat 3 pounds in one setting.
Wow. I still just I can't believe you're eating that much and eating hard-boiled eggs. Wow. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
What part of the cow beef bacon? So bacon comes from pig, right? From pork.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, bacon
Beef.
comes from pork. I don't know. Does anybody make like a beef bacon? I don't think they do. I don't think I've ever
No
seen that.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying they've had chuck, chuck for dinner, chuck roast, chuck eye. I actually just took out a chuck roast that I'm gonna cook on Thursday, so I'm letting it thaw in the fridge.
Oh, nice.
Oh, going back to the Chinese, you could order Peking duck and not use the dipping sauces if you do Chinese. Hmm. Susie get some nice chuck at Costco. That's where I got mine that I'm gonna do on Thursday. Yes, thank you for that. Everybody hit the like button.
Yeah, thank you, Buck.
Yeah. Chad says you can cook chuck so many different ways, get a variety of flavor and texture. Truly amazing cut of meat. Yeah, a lot of people talk about how it's
Uh,
too tough, but you know, you just well, first, it's best if you can like sous vide or dry brine it. Like Chad likes to dry brine, so there we go. But you know, if you can do something like that, and then you want to cook it slower, most of the like if you're gonna cook it like a steak, most of the things I've seen is like you know doing a longer like 30 to 60 minutes, and then finish it off with like a sear. And of course, then you can also do chuck roast in like a crock pot or something or an instant pot. And some people I've seen do it with um I can't think of the right term now that I want to say. Um Not a crock pot, but geez. See, this has got to be the donut from the weekend is messing with my brain here. I got brain fog right now. Um um but you know the dang. I can't think of it.
I
Let's see,
I can't even help
lodge
you out because
cast
I've
iron.
got so little things in my kitchen. I've got a frying
Cast
pan, and
iron.
that's about it.
Yeah, cast
Cast
iron
iron.
pan, that's what I was thinking of, yeah. I think, Cassie from, gosh, the brain fog
Carnivore
is really here
Quest.
right now. Carnivore Quest, there we go. She has a nice video of doing a chuck roast in, um, cast iron, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
London broil and the grill today.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, am I missing any questions?
I haven't seen Carnivore by the Shore at 8:28 says, "Okay, I had a New York strip while listening. Love this live."
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Where are we at? 8:28. Wow, I was way behind, that's why. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yep. I love New
Nice.
York strip too. Ribeye is my favorite, but New York strip is the next cut I go with.
Hmm.
Here we go. Susan cooks chuck roast in an instant pot.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Beef bacon has been popular on some of the barbecue channels.
Ah, okay.
So I wonder where they're getting I wonder if that's like from the chuck or something.
Uh,
Oh, here we go. Poor man's brisket, chuck roast, smoked chuck roast. They cure the brisket like pork belly and slice it up pieces like
ah,
soft, warm jerky. You know, that's another thing. I've made homemade beef jerky out of chuck roast. I actually got the recipe from Carnivore Kip.
oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I've done that before. It's really good.
Hmm.
Here's another one: chuck roast in the Instant Pot.
Nice.
Oh, here we go.
I'm
Beef
starting to
bacon
wish
is
I had a bigger
thin.
kitchen.
Beef bacon is thin sliced short ribs that have been smoked. Mm.
Ah, nice. Oh yeah, that's the important one. 8:31 from Algiers. Like when we're talking about the Asian restaurants, like Vietnamese
Oh
restaurants,
yeah.
Chinese restaurant, important thing is MSG is used in the cooking a lot, and that's an excitotoxin.
Hmm.
Yeah, MSG is not good. Anything that tastes that good, it cannot be good for you.
Another one talking about ribeye being their favorite. I definitely agree.
Mm.
Thank you. Appreciate the support to our community.
Cheers, Buck.
Oh, here's some of oxtail. Oxtail gives you wonderful bone broth and collagen as well as fat. Have you ever had oxtail?
I haven't. I haven't. I'd like to try it, but, yeah. As
Yeah,
yet,
I
no.
haven't
Have
either.
have you tried? No.
I have not, no.
Mm.
And H says, yep, oxtail is super.
Mm.
Huh. So Publix and Walmart have beef bacon. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh,
I've got both of
yeah.
them close to me.
I'm I've got this I've got this strange sense of humor sometimes. I'm just imagining these cows walking around with, regular bacon kinda stapled onto them.
Let's see. Here's something else about MSG. If I want to try Korean barbecue, call ahead. Yep. Do I say there's MSG in the food? Hmm.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Oxtail
I
soup.
used to love eating that stuff with that MSG in it because it just tasted so good, but it's never good for your stomach, let alone
Yeah.
your brain.
Yeah. Did we already do this one? Oh, did I list that one already?
I think that's maybe just a,
Oh, just
that's a
add
similar
on.
one. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions then?
Think we're caught up on questions.
Mm. So, Brian, I don't know if you wanna what you wanna do, if you wanna keep going with the live or not, but I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to jump off because I still haven't actually finished up at my job. I've still got 2 months
Mm,
to go, so I've still gotta go and work.
yeah. Yeah, no problem. We're actually an hour and a half in, so I'll just say if you have any last questions here, go ahead and put them in the chat here. Um, if you need to drop off, Dave, go ahead. Thank you. It's been great again.
Yeah,
And I'll see if there's any new questions, I'll answer them.
okay. So, just before I do jump off, just guys, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. And Brian, thanks for having me on for this one. And I look forward to the next one we do together.
Yeah.
And we've got to set up that challenge with Chad too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. See ya.
Yeah. Bye,
Bye.
Dave. All right. Who loves lamb brains? Um, I've never tried that, so I can't really answer that one. But it'd be interesting to see if anybody else has. All right. Oh, here we go. Julia loves lamb brain, but can't find it. Here we go. Here's another question. What was your YouTube channel name? Link, please. Okay. So it's at Wikivore. Let me see here. If I so it's at Wikivore. Let me get you the link. I'll put the link in the chat here. thing I'm wondering, let me show it here. Let me see. I might have to actually go to Dave's channel, right? Because I don't know if everybody can see when I post in the chat. Not sure how that works yet. So let me go into his and put it in there in case it wasn't in mine. There you go. Oh, and Chad also, whoops, posted it here. Thank you, Chad. Nicole, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate it. I ate beef tartar today. It's raw meat with a raw egg yolk. We eat that in Denmark in rye bread. Didn't eat the bread. Good. Thank you so much, Carnivore by the Shore. Here's another question. Do you stew cook different meats in an instant pot? So I have done chuck roast in an instant pot. I also, so Jordan Peterson's daughter, Michaela Peterson, has a crunchy bits recipe, and in that recipe, basically you take chuck roast and you cook it for an hour and a half in an instant pot, and then you let it sit for an hour and a half, and then you tear it up into pieces, and I think I'm trying to remember. I think then I put it in the air fryer, and you put it in the air fryer for a little bit to get really crispy. So that's another thing that I've done where I started out in the instant pot. Okay. Question: has anyone experienced days of being super hungry despite eating well at each meal? I'm 63, 5'2", weigh 104 pounds, past goal weight, feeling great. Yeah, and something I've heard from people is that um, when you get to your goal weight, a lot of times you end up eating more. And obviously I haven't got there yet. I still have a lot to lose, but from people that I do know that are pretty much at their goal weight, they say that they actually eat more now than they used to eat. But even before getting to a goal weight for me, yeah, there are days that I do feel like I just want to eat. Typically, that's not a day that I've ate a ribeye, and I think it's probably because there's more, um, more fat in the ribeye, and I think that makes you a little less hungry. It makes you fuller for a longer period of time. So it could be that maybe you didn't have as much fat that day, and maybe that's why um, you were super hungry. Let's see. All right, Chad. Good night. Bold Carnivore is here. Hello. Do we have any more questions? Let's see. So I don't think I see any more questions. If you're just joining, Dave did have to go just a few minutes ago. He had to get ready for work. Here's a good comment here from Aid. When correct metabolic weight is reached, the food is not used for calories, it is used for healing and maintenance. Yes, Susan Wicko's Carnivore. Yes, that's the name of my channel. Um, so it should be Wicko's Carnivore, and if you look at the at thing, it's at Wickivore. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I think then I don't see any more questions at this point. So thank you, everybody. And like Dave said, he and I will be getting together again in the near future. We'll set up another live stream. Always like doing the lives with Dave. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye.